we starting with shit?
Oh, I don't. No, don't panic. Nothing's wrong. The only fountain boosts I have are our first episode because we got a lot of boosts, and I don't think that should be half the show. I am a professional.
Keep telling yourself that.
You told me positive affirmations every day.
You are not a fat cunt.
No.
You are right about Bitcoin. Everyone else is wrong.
Yeah, it's them.
It's not you.
It's them. It's not you. It's me. All right. I'm playing the main intro whenever you're ready. Oh, you already recorded. What a pro.
Bitcoin is close to becoming worthless.
Let's go. Now, what's the Bitcoin?
Bitcoin's like rat poison.
Yeah. Oh,
The greatest scam in history.
let's get it.
Bitcoin will go to fucking zero.
Welcome to another episode of Pleb Miner Monthly. Hello, Max.
Bonjour.
Oh, bonjour. Comment allez-vous?
We've been through this. That's all I have.
Yeah,
Bonjour.
I know. I just think someday you'll study some French, and then we can have a proper conversation.
Mange too.
Sure. What did you think of our first Pleb Miner Monthly episode? It was a hit.
Yeah, I thought it was very good. I was actually surprised at how good the feedback was. But yeah, it seemed to go down very, very well.
I think it went down smooth because the plebs were calling for it. Really, this was a call to action. We're just doing what the plebs tell us to do.
Within reason. Because some of the requests are fucking weird.
And a little sick, especially from Dr. Jones Klaus.
Top non-mining tip for you here. If you're still trying to stack in the bear market and you have run out of coffee, you can reuse the coffee granules that you've already used in a cafetiere. So you make your coffee, you do all that, pour it through, and then you can actually reuse it again, which is what I'm doing now. And I thought it would taste like shit, but it's actually still drinkable. So there you are. Top tip.
Top tier tip from Max BitBuyBit. Tune into Pleb Miner Monthly for more cheap-ass hacking tips.
Also, buy your coffee from Aldi as well.
There you go. Don't try to be a fancy pants.
Aldi all the way. And if you're a fat cunt like me and you want to lose some weight, it does work going carnivore. I can tell you that straight away. Zero exercise, losing loads of weight.
How do you feel?
Less fat.
Hey, there you go.
That's what I wanted.
Mission accomplished.
No better as a man, but just slightly less fat. Yeah, about 4 kilos now since January.
Yeah, boy. I make that conversion right away. That's like 10 pounds. You see how fast I did that?
Yeah, that's really impressive, mate. Well done.
I know. Well, we do have a segment on the show called Statistics. I got to be able to bang this stuff out right away.
Are you still grossly overweight?
Yes. Ugh. Gross.
Okay.
Yeah. Gross tonnage. I was on a 72-hour fast last week.
Ooh. Literally just water?
Literally just water. Well, I had some coffee in the morning. I'm not a maniac.
Black coffee.
Black coffee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm pretty impressed.
Was printing node cases, working with LN bits. No, that was a joke for black coffee.
Yeah, no, it was good. It registered.
Yeah, it did. Oh, super. Yeah, it was 72-hour fast, and I was very hungry the whole time, as you can imagine.
But you stuck with it. Did you get that sort of euphoric burst of energy at any point?
Sure. Yeah, and especially in like a night, I couldn't sleep very well. I'm just kind of wired. I think fasting, you could probably get away with like 5 hours of sleep, but felt pretty good. Day 2, especially. Day 3, though, I was glad to eat. I'll put it that way. Maybe broke my fast with a little bit too much food because I had 2 eggs. And I was like, ooh, those went down smooth. And then I had 3 more, and that was probably too much.
Okay.
So we got a lot of positive feedback, I'd say, or at least some smart-ass feedback from the plebs for our first episode.
What do we got?
Well, I'll go through and read some of these boosts here. Yeah. The first one, of course, I think this is going to be a standard here. The first one is from Bon, and he says, "A," or I don't know if I should say that in a Canadian accent. A? No, there's a bunch of H's. So, A. As soon as the clip started playing, I was like, oh shit, that me? Yes, that's you, brother. You won the fountain. Not Foundation Passport. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I can't wait to try out the passport. Seriously, so appreciate it. 10,101 sats.
Well, I hope you already have it in your hands. Let us know how you get on with it. Feedback.
If it's not in his hands, he's not going to let you know. He's going to call Q&A.
Yeah,
he's going to call somebody that can get it done.
I can get it done. I just need to call Q&A. That's how I get it done.
Bond would say, fuck the middleman. I'm just going straight to the source.
Who else have we got? Norman Remnant. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Norman Remnant.
That's it. Norman Remnant, yeah.
Crazy electrician reporting for duty. Thank you for the shout out. I'm determined to get a skilled trades Bitcoin conference going one day. LFG, love the pod. Keep on going on. 8,888 sats.
That stemmed from our Pleb Miner month grand finale where we had mentioned that a skilled trades Bitcoin conference would be a good thing. Mm-hmm. He tweeted that out after the Pleb Miner monthly pod to get a skilled trades Bitcoin conference going. And a lot of people had responded to that. I think there's a desire for people out there, and electricians and plumbers, and like a lot of the guys that we have in our little Telegram group, for us to just meet together and talk about hardware and building stuff, as opposed to a bunch of influencers, think boys, and philosophers talking about what they think about Bitcoin.
Bitcoin is an egg. Here's why.
Yeah. Next boost is from Pleb Miner. Glad to see this being a monthly thing. LFG. Lots of people LFGing. 10,000 sats from Barn Miner. He's got deep pockets.
Ape Mithrandir. When Privacy episode. 7,777 sats. Very soon. Very, very soon. That's like a, come on, stop fucking talking about mining. I want to get some privacy.
Yeah.
But there's a big crossover here, and that's something we're trying to do. So Pleb Miners doing things properly is about as private as you can get. So I like to think we're doing a bit of privacy here as well. In about a week, mate, there will be the king of privacy will be on the show. So I'll leave it there.
Ooh, the king of privacy. Yeah. Wow. What a teaser. Next couple boosts are just sats. We get B, B was actually a big part of Pleb Miner month. He was always boosting and helping out. I actually think he won something. B00, bunch of zeros, 24, 3,000 sats. And then we got at Vake, 2,500 sats. And then we have our boy Chet, LMFAO. What's that mean? What's that mean? LMFAO.
It's a band, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. One of the best podcasts in production, Max. Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm. And I've paid him as well.
Good move. Been doing pleb things and haven't listened to anything in a while. Once a pleb, always a pleb. 21 sats. And the next one, I'm going to read this next one because this is from my man, Mr. G256 up in New York. He's a trash man up in New York. He gets things. He scraps things. Aluminum cans. People throw away dead bodies. He'll recycle them.
Recycle them. Sell them on.
Sure.
Anyone need an arm?
I got you. He says, hashing through the snow, paid my bills today, house is warm and nice, LOLs all the way, when the hash rate dips, keep your spirits bright, oh what fun it is to fuck the bank, banana sign with ASIC chips, plug, electricity, mind, fire, Christmas tree, present, Santa Claus. That last part doesn't rhyme.
That's beautiful though.
It was.
I'm going to add that to my playlist for next Christmas.
Sure.
Schnitzel? Barn Miner.
There you go, Schnitzel.
Do you like me sneaking the barn into the last episode?
Yes, of course. Everybody loved it. You knew what you were doing.
I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was laughing by myself in my kitchen as I did it.
we do it all day.
Such a fucking loser.
Everybody in this house walks around saying, Barn Miner.
Beggy Johnson. Great show, guys. Funny fuckers. Can confirm.
No, one of us, anyway.
Yeah, me.
Yeah. At Tim, TYM. How do you... Tim, TYM, time?
Little Timmy. 1,000 sats. Thank you very much.
Oh, I never heard of this guy either. Bitcoin Labrador. LFG 1000. Here's another one. He can't figure it out. He's got to do it twice. At Bitcoin Labrador. Help! 501 sats. You see who's next here on the list.
I was going to say, surprised he's still writing because he'd be in Davos, but actually this is from a while ago. Dr. Jones Klaus. By the way, I got nothing to do with that motherfucker Klaus Schwab. He can rot in hell. I just suck picking pseudonyms. Laughing, crying face, laughing, crying face, laughing, crying face, full stop. Keep spreading the word with your podcast. You are helping real plebs that want to get out of this shitty fiat world. No full stop. Heart.
Valley Dog. Great episode, 200 sats. And Weissen de Teufel. What is with this German spin we have on this show? Weissen de Teufel, 100 sats.
We have a lot of German plebs who tune into this.
Yeah. All right. FW7, 100 sats. Yeah. FW7.
I like that one, actually.
I do too. But FW7, yeah. Why don't you got to up it up. 100 sats? Come on.
No, there's no limit because he's not asked a question. We've just said it's a 501 sat minimum for any question.
Ah, I see. I didn't know we had laid that down.
Yeah. Say you do 500 sats, fuck off, we're not answering. If you do 501, fair play. If you want to just send sats, FW7, with no question, crack on, mate. Thank you very much. We appreciate every single one of those sats.
Absolutely. Before we move on to the next segment, I just want to mention that our buddies, the Node Runners, have spun up a new radio station, Node Runners FM. And it is on Twitter and Telegram, and they play music all day long and post GIFs of people dancing.
How do you post GIFs on the radio?
On their Telegram channel. You just listen to the Telegram feed all day and then post GIFs of people dancing. The most popular GIF on that platform is one of a BitBuyBit alumni, Bert de Groot. Apparently, Bert de Groot has a famous doppelganger, and it's quite common to post a GIF of this doppelganger that looks just like Bert
I'll
dancing.
be checking that out. So what sort of music? They just have non-Bitcoin related music on there?
No, there's Bitcoin related music on there, but more often than not, it's quite a milieu of music. You get anything from dance to classic rock to hardcore Dutch gangster rap. You didn't know the Dutch had a hardcore gangster rap?
Yeah, I do know it. I know it very, very well because Crown sends me loads of it. It's quite good, actually.
Yeah, they're very serious about it. A lot of chugh.
It sounds quite good, though. Like, it sounds a bit tougher, I reckon.
Nothing more hardcore gangster than a chugh.
Just like coughing up phlegm.
Yeah, that's like a defense mechanism. You get into a street fight, you hawk a loogie in someone's eye.
Spit a verse of one of these guys and people will run.
Yeah. Especially during COVID period. That really would have freaked people out.
I could probably do some Dutch rapping.
Yeah, you probably could.
I woke up this morning with a throat that was fucked. Just literally like woke up and that was my first thought was like,
Hey, it's my favorite Dutch rapper.
Probably really upsetting some people because it's their art form.
You can't upset the Node Runners. They're too jolly.
Well, we'll keep trying.
We can do it.
We'll break them.
Statistics.
Statistics. I'ma tell you the basics for hashing with ASICs, Bitcoin mining statistics.
It's simple mathematics. Check it out. I'll revolve around science.
What are we talking about here?
Statistics. I'ma tell you the basics for hashing with ASICs, Bitcoin mining statistics.
It's simple mathematics. Check it out. I'll revolve around science.
What are we talking about here?
Statistics brought to you by Lincoin Pool and their tool, Lincoin Lens. That's lens.lincoin.com. First up, we have global hash rate. All-time high. Yeah. Oof load size. Large. Global hash rate is 289 exahash with a network hash rate of 270 exahash. Lincoin Pool's hash rate is 536 petahash. Go Lincoin Pool, but it was 580. So plebs, get up on there on Lincoin Pool and start contributing hash.
Because you pulled some hash off there the other day.
It must have been me. Big baller, shot caller.
John pulled 5% of his hash.
20-inch blades on the Impala. but they're number 16 worldwide. They were 17. So somehow, with less hash rate, they've moved up the rankings. I don't know.
Total global hash rate is at all-time high.
Yeah.
Lincoin Pool's hash rate has dropped from last month, but their positioning against other pools has moved upwards. Maybe another pool's gone under. Or consolidation.
Consolidation. Well, we had some bankruptcies in the mining industry, so perhaps those institutions that were contributing hash rate to a certain pool dumped out, and that enabled Lincoin Pool to weasel their way up the charts.
Well weaseled.
Well weaseled, Medi. It's been an interesting month for mining and hash rate. Over the past month, the highest one-day moving average. Now, this is 1 day. All right. Now, I think everybody kind of looks at these averages in like a 7-day moving average, because 1 day you'll get these crazy spikes. Like, here's an example of it. The highest 1-day moving average hash rate was 306 exahash on January 6th. That's crazy. 306 for a 1-day moving average. But then the lowest was 155 exahash on December 24th.
What's going on there then?
Well, it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
It was really freaking cold in the entire country of the United States. Mind you, the greatest country on the planet. It was super cold right before Christmas. So, all of these miners in Texas and in other areas that have promised, like ERCOT, said, hey, if you need power or you need us to do something, you can pay us and we will turn off our machines. Mm-hmm. So that's exactly what they did. As designed, they needed the extra power, or it was unreliable because of renewables. We'll get to that in Bitcoin Baseload's energy market update, what he thinks of renewables. But perhaps, you got to shut down the windmills because it's super crazy cold and windy. Like here, we had wind gusts 30, 40 mile an hour for 3-4 days straight. It was ridiculous. Or, of course, solar panels aren't exactly absorbing the sun when it's gray and cloudy. The large institutional miners that have those arrangements with the electricity providers did the arranging. And obviously during that time, they had shut machines off.
Been fucking cold here as well. Do you want to know what my first electricity bill has come through as? Electricity and gas.
I don't.
Not really, but you're going to tell me anyway. Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell everyone else. £940.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you. Which is about 12 or 1300 Yankee doodah dollars. So we had to call them and be like, listen, you fucks, what is happening? And they're like, oh, well, you've just moved in, so you're on this like whatever rate, like shit rate, so we'll readjust. But I'm like, well, I hope it's a fucking serious readjustment, because
readjust to what?
Yeah, exactly. Like, we didn't even use it that much. It barely really had it on. So we've put a shitload more insulation in the roof yesterday and just doing what we can, just sitting in the cold. I'm sat here in 2 hoodies and a coat.
You know how many machines I have, and my bill is less than yours.
Yeah, well, exactly. So fuck you, Europe.
Welcome to the UK. It's cold here. Try warming yourself.
Yeah, fucking good luck.
We talked about the 1-day moving average is kind of wonky. It's really hard to get good data from that. So let's zoom out a little bit and look at the 7-day moving averages. The highest hash rate, an all-time high of somewhere around 275, 276 exahash and 222 exahash on December 27th. So you can see how the numbers change when you average them over 7 days. But still, that's a pretty decent swing from the high during that period to the low during that period.
Where do you think we're going?
You know what? I don't know.
Can we have an end of the year?
You want an end of this year prediction? Like 11 months from now? Hell no. I'm not giving you that. What do I know?
Good point.
Just some doofus that runs a podcast with another doofus.
Can I make a guess?
Please make a guess. And I'm going to even write it down too, because you're not getting away from it, even though we're recording this.
380.
Holy shit. I hope not. I ain't got the juice for 380.
Yeah, but you see, this is the thing, and that's what I hope doesn't happen, so probably it will.
We're going to talk about this later on in the episode, like what is real hash rate if the large miners were actually adhering to sound economic principles and not sucking off the money printer like every other business. What would the hash rate be then?
380.
Looking at these statistics and looking at these numbers in a swing, we had a cold snap in two countries, United States and Canada, and look at what happened over like a 3-4 day period to global hash rate because those two countries had a cold snap. So obviously there's we talk about decentralization all the time. And that's one of the things that we think that we do well as pleb miners is we're out there, we're distributed. But look at what happened with the hash rate when the US and Canada had a cold snap.
Well, the other way to look at it is like the pleb miners who are working on using the heat, then that kind of like counters it, because when it gets cold, maybe more hash comes online and it balances out with plebs who are turning on these space heaters and stuff like that.
I'll tell you this here, I usually kind of underclock most of my machines, and I went full tilt during that time. So
there you are. And what Crypto Cloaks is coming out with this casing and some other stuff that's going on, like it is definitely moving in the right direction. I think, since we did the Pleb Miner month, I don't know whether it's because I'm more dialed into it or whether it is just that there's a bit of momentum here, but there seems to be a lot going on. I know Odell was running something at the Bitcoin Park the other day as well, and just a lot of talk about mining, a lot of talk about plebs doing things, and it's definitely exciting to see.
We have some investigative journalists in the field there that were at Bitcoin Park, and we'll get an update from them later on in the episode. Difficulty, currently the difficulty threshold is 37.59 trillion, and that was a 10.26% increase over the last difficulty epoch. And that's also an all-time high. So there we go. Hash rate all-time high, difficulty all-time high, Bitcoin price, hey, getting better. Let's be positive.
Yeah, what's happened there?
We got a little pump it up, don't you know? This morning before we recorded, I had to redo all of the numbers that I did yesterday because of this pump.
That's why I smash buy on Coinbase the day before we record.
Coinbase, you cuck.
This is really gonna fuck him up. Yeah, not Coinbase Pro.
Bro, you got all the tools. Is that a green candle, bro?
Oh yeah. I have it on all the screens and I just press smash buy. Fuck you up.
You cuck. We know the real plebs use Peach Bitcoin.
Exactly.
So current difficulty is 37.59, all-time high. And our last show, it was 34.24 trillion. Then it was 35.36, and then it dipped down to 34.09, probably because of the cold snap. But we are at all-time highs. And we are 1,200 something blocks away from the next adjustment, so we're not going to make an estimation of what the next difficulty is going to be. But currently, blocks are coming in at 10 minutes and 30 seconds. So what's your guess?
10 minutes and 30 seconds. So because it's going in slower, that hash rate and difficulty is going to go up.
Oh boy, you had a 50-50 shot.
Got a lot to learn.
Hash price, Bitcoin is in the mid 22s, so you're going to get $7.53 a day if you're selling your sats. Why are you doing that right away? But if you have to, you can get 100 terahash machines, going to get you $7.53 a day. It was $6.40 on our last episode, so improving.
Okay.
Once again, here's the important number. You get 33,454 sats per day. You were getting 36,000 sats per day, but in this epoch, you're getting fewer sats per day, but they're worth more.
Mm-hmm.
Yay us. I got a question for you, Max. There's always this debate going around, and I've never got your opinion on it. Halving or halvening?
There is no debate. It's neither. It's halfinning.
Yes.
There's no debate, and anyone who goes with either of those
just
doesn't know what they're doing. It's halfinning. Mm-hmm. It has to be. It's too perfect.
Yeah. Kismet.
Just before we move on, because this is important, don't let me sway you, even though it is the only way to choose. But what would you go for if not presented with halfinning, which is obviously correct?
Oh, yes, that. I would never disagree with you, Max.
Come on, what were you going to say?
I was going to say halvening.
Yeah, that's what I would go for as well.
If halfinning didn't exist, yes.
Yes, then it would be halvening.
It is agreed. Pleb Miner monthly harmony.
Yes.
Machine profitability. How profitable are these machines, Max?
Not very if you're in England.
If you want to look at particular machine profitability for a model of machine that you like or that you have, you can use the miner compare tool on Lincoin Lens. An S9, you're going to get 4,800 sats a day. That's worth $1.08 a day. The machines went up a little bit in price. They're now $125 at Kaboom Racks, and that's something like $8.62 a terahash, and it was $7.50 a terahash. So they've gone up a bit as machine prices do go up a bit. Yeah.
Can I just ask a question that I should know? Kaboom Racks, if you buy an S9, because obviously it's an old bit of kit, what do they do? Do they put a bow around it and that's it? Or do they like clean the thing and check it over? Like what are they doing before sending one of those out? Because I'd always be like, this could have been in someone's fucking basement just collecting dust for like nearly a decade.
I do believe you'll have to check with Alex, but when you buy a machine or when you look at their list of machines for sale, they'll give it a grade. So if it's an S9, it's most likely going to have a grade B. I'm sure they clean it a little bit, but they certainly test the machine. And if you mention Pleb Miner or Pleb Miner Month, you get free cables with that S9. So that's a bonus.
It
might be a little old, but the cables are new.
Triggers broom.
An M30S++, 108 terahash. It's going to get you 36,000 sweet sats a day. And they're running about $1,990 on Kaboom Racks right now. And they have a whole bunch for sale. So, see Alex at Kaboom Racks Alex and mention Pleb Miner and you get some free cables. But the break-even price on that is 9.5 cents a kilowatt hour. So if you don't have that rate, be careful and do your research. An S19J Pro, 100 terahash. I'd like to mention this machine because the math is easy. That's going to get you 33,000 sats a day. And currently they're $1,666 on Kaboom Racks. That's a 9.6 cents per kilowatt hour break even. But if we were at $7.53 a day, if we're at $50,000 Bitcoin, that's $16.72 a day. If we're at $100,000 Bitcoin, that's $33 a day. So there is hope. Newer gen machines, the S19 XP 141 terahash, it's going to get you 47,170 sats a day, but they're stupidly expensive at $5,830. But their break even's 13.7 cents, and that's an attainable rate for some people.
Was it Alex who was writing about this?
Yes, Alex wrote about it. Nico wrote about it, and Tech Engineer had written about it. It's a hot topic of conversation. Why? I mean, obviously the demand, influences the price. There's obviously demand for these things.
Why though? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Well, it doesn't make any sense actually. If you've got an S19J Pro for 1,600, and then you got one of these for 5,830, it just doesn't compute.
Let's revisit this later on in the episode because Baseload gave me a really good analogy of how we as pleb miners make decisions and how the big boys make decisions. And I think that'll kind of bring some clarity to the situation.
Cool.
Another newer gen machine, the WhatsMiner M50, 118 terahash. That's going to get you 39,475 sats a day. They're a little bit more reasonable at $2,500. That's a 9 cent break even. So I would look towards that machine and the way that Bitmain has been acting lately with the goofiness of their control boards, what control board you're getting, and everybody really loves WhatsMiner. That might be a machine to look at. So reach out to Alex. But you can make your own charts and figure out what machine is right for you on, like I said, on Lincoin Lens. Lincoin Pool that runs Lincoin Lens is a leading FPPS Bitcoin mining pool with FPPS rewards with steady payout, advanced management tools, best-in-class real-time monitoring, and Paynym payout.
We like that.
We do. We also like our friend who is in studio once again, the AI-enabled Telegram bot, Body McBotface.
Welcome back, Body McBotface. What have you got for us today?
What do you call a fake noodle?
What do you call a fake noodle, Max? What do you think?
I don't know. You get me every time.
An impostor. An impostor.
Once again, thank you for the joke, Body McBotface.
Yeah, moving on swiftly.
Now, a bite-sized Bitcoin.
To begin with, what is Bitcoin?
When bit 47.
A lot of people are familiar with Lightning, and Liquid is effectively layer 2.
Bit 129.
What is Taproot?
Sure, and Taproot, that's the first new protocol upgrade since SegWit.
Difficulty adjustments.
How do mnemonic seed words work?
UTXO management.
Today in Bitesize Bitcoin, we're going to be learning about Bitcoin mining server components. Emergentism is the belief that complex systems can exhibit properties or behaviors that are not present in their individual components. Such is the case with a Bitcoin miner. In today's Bitesize Bitcoin, we will review the components that comprise of a common air-cooled single-phase powered Bitcoin miner. Ooh, exciting. In many ways, a mining rig is less complex than other electronic devices we use every day. It's designed to perform only one function. It is comprised of a case, a control board, hash boards, ASIC chips, power supply, fans, and the wiring to connect them all together. The control board is the central hub of the machine. It's responsible for controlling.
Max, do you hate listening to the sound of your own voice?
No, I fucking love it. Turns me on.
It was good. Ooh. Well, there you have it. That was our Bite-Sized Bitcoin. It is about the components that comprise a Bitcoin mining rig, a Bitcoin mining server. You heard Max say it there. The case, the fans, the control board, the wiring, the power supply, hash boards, and ASIC chips. So if you want to hear more about that in greater detail, tune into that episode of Bite-Sized Bitcoin, which I do believe is the couple ones previous to this. I don't know. I can't keep track. You'll find it.
It's back one. You'll find it. Yeah. Very well written, mate.
Oh, very well narrated. Kudos to you, sir.
I took some of the wanky stuff out.
You did. I noticed.
From the beginning.
It's all right.
It's very much you. It just wasn't me. It didn't feel right, you know?
Well, we all know I'm wanky and you're cool.
I think so. And also I was like, who's this Harry Stottle guy? I don't know. Someone of significance, apparently, but I've never heard of him. So I thought,
some Greek fella named Harry Stottles. Yeah. If you have any issue with any of these components in your Bitcoin mining rig, the Bite-Sized Bitcoin segment is sponsored by FixRigs. They provide service on all ASIC rigs, which includes an ultrasonic cleaning, as well as a diagnostic of your machine from top to bottom. I guess you can go from left to right, too.
Top to bottom sounds better, though.
Agree. I like to go bottom to top, but, to each his own.
Kinky.
Yeah. They repair all types of machines, but they specialize in Bitmain and What's miners because that's what's out there. Max, did you learn a lot from narrating this Bite-Sized Bitcoin?
No. But I did... I did work on my reading skills, so I sat there for a whole day to do that pretty much. So, yeah, I think that was something.
Yeah, congratulations. You're a big boy.
Thank you. Did you learn anything from me reading what you'd already written and already know?
Oh, that you're incredibly boring when you read something.
Less or more than normal life?
No, less boring, because it was about something that I cared about. That's Bitcoin mining, Max.
Went quiet for a long time.
It did. You went quiet as well. I thought you hated me. Who says you don't? We had a boost for that episode, and it was one that was so good that I decided to put it in here so that we can read. The boost is from Mr. Mister. I don't know if that's one of your favorite 80s bands.
I wasn't born in the 80s. We've gone through this. You're very old.
Yeah, but you can still listen to 80s music.
No, not backwards compatible.
Well, he gave 1,647 stats, and he said, definitely a nerdy episode. Excellent. My PSUs have no transformers. Well, that's cool. They're all switch mode. I'll have to look into what that means, luckily. Single-phase AC power has an active and a neutral. That's true. Doesn't matter what you plug into the wall. That's the way it is. No magic swapping around. Crazy talk. And I wanted to clarify that. That's for 220, 240 here in the United States. The way you wire up an ASIC is you got two hots and your ground. So it's those hots alternating back and forth that when the hot is off, obviously there you have a neutral side of things. But he says grounding is always important when the chassis is metal. Indeed, I wouldn't describe an ASIC as a processor, just like I wouldn't describe a processor as an ASIC. Heat comes from the power usage. Higher clock rate can increase power usage. Well, of course. And then he had another boost, 9,674 sats. And he says, you ungovernable misfits have been keeping me going for over a year now. So I'm in boost overdraft. Brink of the bank for that guy. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mister. Take these broken wings. We appreciate your boost and your input. And that's the kind of thing we like on the Bitesize Bitcoin and these other segments that we're doing is we get a little back and forth and we can have a discussion about technology.
Where are we doing our back and forth? I'm starting to get better at doing it on Fountain and responding to things. So I'm a bit shit usually. You're normally very much on top of it. Is that our forum? Like, is that where we're having the discussions? What's going on?
Well, we can have it. You can't really do a proper back and forth on Fountain. It's one way. Like, I don't know. I don't mean dog Fountain, but I don't exactly get notifications when somebody replies to one of the boosts. But I like to get in there and say hi to everybody and let them know that we hear you and we're listening.
Maybe there's a setting in Fountain that you can get notifications.
There could be. I'm not as technically adept as you are.
That's worrying.
Yeah, isn't it though?
Fucking hell.
Max, in the Bitesize Bitcoin, we talked about Bitcoin mining server, Bitcoin mining rig. That was a conversation brought up by Bob Burnett from Barefoot Mining. I always say ASICs. I'm probably still going to say ASICs. What's your opinion on that issue?
Yeah, I think I probably will as well, even though it's wrong. I just feel like it's gone too far. It's what everyone calls it. I don't think I like Bitcoin mining server. It's a bit of a
wordy.
Oh, have you seen my new Bitcoin mining server? It'd be like, check out my new ASIC. It's just cooler, right, isn't it? I just think it's a bit better. If we can like a way of shorting it, I don't mind mining rig actually.
Yeah, that's right. It's more plebby.
Yeah, or just rig. But then here in the UK, I don't know if it's the same there, but if you're like, she's got a good rig, it's like a body.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be a rig. Or like if someone's rigged up.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, now you do. Learn something new every day, mate.
Especially from you.
But then maybe it works. I mean, maybe you can still use that. That's a nice rig. That rig is hot. Those straight edges.
Talking about your Bitcoin mining server. Nerd talk.
Yeah, let's go with ASICs or rig, and we fuck off Bitcoin mining server.
Yes, sir. In the Bitesize Bitcoin, we listed all the different things that can go wrong with your Bitcoin mining server, your rig, your ASIC. If you have any of those problems, you can talk to FixRigs. So there's so many components that can fail, and they can fail at any time and without warning. And if your machine's out of warranty, and it's within a year, you can buy an extended warranty from FixRigs. That's a program that they're working on now. I assume that they'll be launching that soon. But it's going to be something like a 3-year warranty for around $600. And you can send your machine in to get repaired and not have to worry about if you're going to have some big out-of-pocket expense.
That's actually quite an interesting one, especially as from what I hear, even if they are in warranty from the manufacturer, often that's a bit shit anyway.
Yeah, there's no guarantee that they're going to fix it. So you could send it to the, wherever the, Bitmain or What's Miner tells you to send it to, and they could send it back. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to fix this. Yeah, that's a long way. But that's kind of like why we working with FixRigs, because it's real people down there that you can talk to. And if they can't fix it, they'll send it back, or at least be honest with you about what's wrong with it and go into great detail.
What about if it's a used rig?
If it's a used rig, they said within 1 year of purchase that you can warranty the machine. Yeah, if you got an older used rig and it's broken, yeah, they'll fix it.
So in theory, would it not make sense, rather than buying new machines, to go to Alex, buy a used machine that's just rolled out of that 1 year, and then put the warranty on it for the $600. And you're like, actually, this is better than having a new machine, because rather than having a warranty for a year that they won't fucking fix it anyway, probably, you have a warranty for 3 years and the machine's still probably cheaper than a new one anyway.
Well, that's possible that could work out. If you had a $600 difference between the new price and the used price, usually it's going to be a couple $100 difference, at least at these price ranges. But it's something to explore, especially if you have a lot of machines, or you're at a level where maybe you're off grid and your machines break more often. That could be something to look into. But if you have more questions, reach out to @FixRigs on Twitter, and they'll give you more information. Let's roll into Pleb Miner Monthly Action News.
It's Pleb Miner Monthly Action News, your trusted source for news on the Bitcoin mining scene. We go beyond mining stats to give you the skinny, the lowdown, the scoop, the info you need to know. Nico Smith with news and market insight. Bitcoin baseload with energy market updates. Pleb in the field, Pleb Miner. And your anchors, Max, BitBuyBit, and John D. And now, Pleb Miner Monthly Action News.
Pleb Miner Monthly Action News is brought to you by Kaboom Racks. That's kaboomracks.com. Visit Kaboom Racks Alex if you have any ASIC needs, and he will hook you up. That's kaboomracks.com. Kaboom. Our first order of business, our friend Mehdi over at Lincoin Pool experienced a DOS attack, denial of service attack, and this is a message that Mehdi put out, and he says, "We have been fighting a DOS attack with a series of cyber attacks on Lincoin since Tuesday," and this came out December 27th. We thought we should share some of the life-saving tips with our users and Bitcoin miners. The attack started on December 27th and lasted 24 hours. We received reports that our users were having trouble signing into their account. Soon we noticed it is a distributed denial of service, DDoS attack, which was immediately mitigated by increasing security thresholds on DNS, data center, and server levels. Something made that DDoS attack different. Instead of just adding load on the servers, the attackers were using engineered bots to try logging into the platform using a public database of leaked credentials. Thousands of credentials were being tried in every minute. Our firewall did its job in stopping the attacks. Almost none of those requests reach our servers, and all servers remain intact. Good job, Lincoin Pool. While we learned a lot through this process, we thought we should also share some security tips with our users. So get out your paper and your pencil and write this down. There is a good chance that one of the websites you ever used has leaked its databases, and potentially they did not encrypt passwords. Dumb shits. So keep changing your passwords on a rolling basis.
Top
tier tip. Two-factor authentication is your friend. Always have it for any platform you keep sensitive assets or data with. Use Lincoin Teams, watch your links, or Body McBot face. There you go, buddy. Sitting in the chair having some coffee in studio today. Body
Big
McBot
shout
face.
Out.
Yeah, no doubt. What do you think about that, Body? And the best he could do is probably tell us a joke again. To separate your master account from the account your team uses for their day-to-day operations. I guess if that's your bigger mining operations, you want to have something different than your dudes in the field do. And they say, stay safe and have a happy new year. Well, thank you, Mehdi.
I appreciate that, letting people know. They don't have to tell people.
It's something that you and I ran into very quickly in dealing with Mehdi. It's like, just honest about stuff. It's like he's got, you ask him a question, he'll answer it. Real matter of fact. Nothing to hide there. I appreciate that from him.
That first interview we did, we were talking about Lincoin Pool in the early days, and he was like, yeah, people came across, and we were really pleased that they came across. And I mean, the platform was terrible. And I was just like, fair play. It was very funny.
Max, do you do anything special to constantly change your passwords? Not just do like Max BitBuyBit password.
Oh, you bastard.
BitBuyBit. Oh, shit. I just stalked all your password. Well, you got some work to do today.
I'm getting better, but I do it manually. Like I bought one of those UB keys and I had the password manager running and all that stuff. You know what I'm like? I'm just a fucking retard who locks myself out of stuff all the time. I was just like, yeah, I don't like this. So yeah, pen and paper. That's the way. And I just do long, complex, multi-character stuff and then write it down again. So I always have 2 copies just in case like my dyslexia trips me up. And then, just have to do it manually. It's slower, but it's like, the thing is, most of my stuff that I need to sign into, I don't need to do from a phone. And when I'm out and about, it's like, I can just wait until I'm home and I can just get my book and I can do it. Like it's pretty foolproof.
So you've made it so complex that it's now password is BitBuyBit 2.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, you're smart.
What about you? What's your password?
Roger Buttersworth. That's my
Probably
password.
is as well.
Yeah, it is. Bitmain is releasing an S19J Pro Plus. What is wrong with this company, Bitmain? S19, S19J, S19J Pro, S19 XP, S19J Pro Plus.
Well, I don't think the Watts miners are much better. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
They're at 50s now, man. You got a 31, then you go to a 30, then you 30S, S++.
Why'd you go with 31 and then 30 and like go backwards and forwards on the number? Just have the M1, the M2, the M3, the M4. Apple know what they're doing with the M's.
Well, at least we're in agreement on something. But the interesting thing about this S19J Pro Plus 7285 XP is that it comes with its own power cord and a power supply that can handle 277 volts.
Why is that interesting?
This is interesting because 277, because 480 is a popular voltage that you can get from the power company at a better rate. And that enables you to use possibly a cheaper transformer that only has to break it down to 277. There might be some data centers that have 277 volts. It just gives you more flexibility in your machine. Plus, it comes with a power cord. And as we mentioned in the Bitesize Bitcoin, the different power connections that are in the machines, the Watts miner uses a C19, C20 combination. Bitmain uses the C13, which is like your old computer plug, which isn't actually rated for as much amperage as those machines pull. So now they're going to change their power supplies up to the C19, C20 connector, and it comes with a power cord.
But if it's 277, then we've got, 230 in the UK or 240 in the UK?
It's fine. It'll take it. But okay. The other ones, you might be risking something if you're trying using 277. But it comes with a power cord. I don't know if I mentioned that. This next story, I think you're really going to love. So your buddies, your favorite mining organization in the world.
Compass
Mining. This is from Cointelegraph by Kieran Lyons. A complaint filed against Compass Mining for losing BTC mining machines. Losing. I don't know where his big heavy machines went.
Well, they were lying around somewhere.
The lawsuit alleges that Compass Mining didn't disclose to BitRiver that it was only the middleman, not the owner of its customers' machines. A group of customers attempting to sue Compass Mining for over $2 million for failure to return their Bitcoin mining machines after cutting ties with a Russian hosting company has had their case dismissed just a Friday after filing their complaint. However, the judge has given the plaintiffs another 2 weeks to file a second amended complaint. The original complaint stems from a partnership between Compass Mining and BitRiver, which was intended to allow Compass customers to host their machines at BitRiver facilities to take advantage of enterprise-grade, low-cost, and low-carbon cryptocurrency mining facilities in Russia. In a court document filed with the United States District Court of Southern Florida on January 17th, the complaint stated that Compass Mining terminated its relationships and dealings with BitRiver in April 2022 due to the sanctions imposed by the Executive Order 14024 and alleges that Bitcoin machines hosted at the Russian facility were never returned to customers. The complaint argued an explanation that the mining machines returned would violate Executive Order 14024 was false, and said that Compass has both the right and obligation to effect the return of its customers' miners. The complaint then alleges that Compass was unhelpful. I think that's an understatement.
Can confirm.
Was unhelpful in helping customers retrieve their stranded machines. Compass representatives told customers that it is unable to conduct or even facilitate any business dealings with BitRiver, according to the complaint. When its customers had no option but to contact BitRiver, the Russian firm allegedly passed the ball back to Compass.
Classic
Compass move, bro.
Oh, the sad thing is it's not shocking at all. Yeah, I just lost them. What do you mean you lost them? I'm sure they were here somewhere, but...
The Russians. That's all you got to say.
Amazing. Do you know what I didn't know as well? It's my fault because I didn't read any of the paperwork when I bought the machines. But every month or so, they're just like, yeah, we're moving your machine again. It's going to be down for a while. And then what they do is they go, it's moved. And by the way, you were paying 8 cents a kilowatt hour. You're now paying 10. Mwahaha. Like they just keep fucking doing it. I'm just like, I'm not even going to bother complaining. Just fuck me. You've been doing it for long enough.
I have in my hands the 52 count complaint against Compass Mining, the court documents. Hear that? That's the papers. That's the court documents. That's 14 pages of court documents. This is the lengths we go to here at Pleb Miner Monthly to give you the news that you need to know. It's pretty salacious. Dutifully made payments and waited for delivery of their purchased miners. That's section 19 to the Compass facilities.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yep, experienced that.
People made their payments. They dutifully waited to get to their Compass facility, and almost immediately the initial orders of plaintiffs were delayed. And when plaintiffs attempted to email, call, or message Compass, customer support requests were often ignored, or it took weeks before anyone responded. This scenario played out over and over again with multiple plaintiffs.
Yes.
I think we can all confirm that on Twitter. Yeah.
Me and Antimus experienced this. I think I only had to wait 7 months. And luckily it was in the time where hash rate was really low when I bought them. And then they managed to get them online just as it had gone back to all-time highs. So that was pleasing.
Perfect timing. Here's what's funny, though. Were you called to be part of this class action lawsuit?
I was not, but I couldn't, presumably, as a NIM anyway.
Yeah. You still weren't contacted. They got your email address.
I was contacted, but not for this.
No, they contacted to do what?
To sell me more machines at the same time as telling me that they were going to unplug my machine because I was half a day late on one payment, and say that actually all your costs are going up because fuck you.
We have nowhere to put your machines, but do you want more of them?
Yeah, and here's a bill for what you haven't actually received. And if you don't fucking pay it, then we're going to unplug your other machines.
Cool. BT dubs. Here's section 36. Compass failed spectacularly at providing management service to plaintiffs. Compass failed to use the most minimal efforts to maintain the management and service of plaintiffs' Bitcoin mining. Oh, they say Bitcoin mining systems. How about that? Many of the plaintiffs' mining machines have never, ever been online. Oh, dude. Months past their promised online time. And it goes on. It's 52 sections long of this stuff. They got a case. I'm no lawyer, but they got a case.
Tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, bro.
Fuck you, Compass. And fuck you, everyone who was shilling them, with the exception of Marty and Matt, who admitted it and apologised. Everyone else who knew for months, you cunts, you knew for months that people were drowning, and you carried on shilling and telling everyone everything was fine and getting more people involved. So fuck you.
Nice. Hey, we had some friends attend the Bitcoin Park Energy Summit. We had some reporters down there in the field, one of them being Pleb Miner and Baseload. They're both down there. They were at an energy summit at Bitcoin Park in Nashville, and they have some information that they'd like to share from that. Baseload says the generation fleet, and I really like this term, generation fleet. And it's basically like all the capital out there, all the plant out there that actually makes the energy, the generation fleet, is too much renewables. We're already at too much renewables. And this is mainly talking about the United States. And I think we can kind of look at that. Maybe it's too much renewables if we look at the cold weather that we had here in the United States and what miners had to do to adjust for that cold weather. But he says they straight up can't deliver the load factor. Energy producers have moved away from reliable sources. They're now at the mercy of the sun and the wind, just like what the Germans are dealing with. The generation fleet doesn't match your load profile. The demand is 24/7, but wind and solar aren't able to deliver 24/7. That seems like pretty easy math. So yeah, when the sun is not shining or the wind is not blowing, yeah, that's the future. That's your future now. Unreliable energy. Thank you.
Thanks, Greta, you little bitch.
Yeah. Would you like to fake another arrest? Part of our conversation went to, the deck is stacked against pleb miners. We've got to turn off machines, but there's like massive discrimination with energy customers. Miners are looked down upon. You go to an energy provider, you go to a co-op, or you go to Duke Energy or some of these larger energy providers and say like, oh, I want to open up a mining operation. And you're like, so? Yeah, but I can give you, constant demand, and I'm a customer that's going to pay you a certain rate, based on what I use, and you'll be able to budget that and everything. Like, yeah, we don't care. We don't care about you. It's like they look down upon the miners. You can have a strip club somewhere with lights on all day and night, sound systems bumping, and they'll go above and beyond to make sure that they have power at a certain rate.
Well, where would you rather be?
A mining operation next to the strip club. If I was some kind of... Me? I'd rather be in the mine, bro.
Okay. Maybe you could do like a
mashup.
Merge? A strip merge mining situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know if you want to mix those two things up. Fans whirring at ridiculously fast speeds.
It would get hot in there.
Nude body parts.
Hash slut or something like that.
You can just play Don't You Know Pump It Up. And the strippers, after a couple hours of that, are like, oh, God, I got to dance to this again. Don't you know pump it up?
Yeah, it's a bad idea. Scrap that.
Baseload said, we're just trying to plug in computers, man. That's all we're trying to do. But he came up with the best analogy here. And I want to put this to you. If the mining industry was operating on sound economic principles like a pizza shop, what would global hash rate be? If you run a pizza shop, you are a small businessman now. You've been a successful real estate guy. So you understand these metrics. This is my cost. This is my potential money that I'm going to make. This is my profit. It's very basic. You've got your pizza dough. That's your price of your machines. You've got your sauce. That's the price of your electricity. You've got your pepperoni. That might be the price of your labor there. Or if you have to pay money to FixRigs to get a machine repaired, that's going to be your different costs. But the large miners don't seem to be operating on sound economic principles because it seems like they can just get money and they don't have to figure it out. Almost like a pizza shop owner can do better at this.
Well, yeah, except that times maybe are changing because there's less money sloshing around for retards at the moment. And a few of these guys have tripped up pretty badly. So, I don't know, maybe as things are changing and it is harder to get hold of money, maybe they'll start being less stupid. But yeah, he's definitely right. There's been so much of it. It's pretty crazy to think where it could be.
It just seems like these kind of folks are like playing whack-a-mole. Oh, you failed at mining, we'll knock you down. Oh, you're over here. You're in Texas now. Oh, now you're in South Dakota. Oh, now you've moved to South America, building another one. We spoke before in the beginning of the show, like, why would you get an XP for $5,800? Well, the pizza shop guy wouldn't buy the XP for $5,800. He'd buy the pepperoni that costs $1 instead of $5 because he's smart and he doesn't have an unlimited amount of money. Savvy pizza shop owner, you. Hey, this episode, we actually have a Bitcoin baseload energy market update. Yeah. Bitcoin baseload got that groovy jam with that bawumba at the beginning. Bitcoin baseload's energy market update, he says that the U.S. has the cheapest BTUs on the planet. Well, I'm glad I'm here. We have the cheapest BTUs, but that's British thermal units.
So they're us.
Yeah. I don't know. Given by your electricity and gas bill, you sure as shit don't have the cheapest BTUs on the planet.
We do not.
He says worldwide, a lot of energy volatility has been washed out with the weather across the globe. and it's like we all expected Europe to have this terrible winter. Well, because the UK bombed a pipeline to cause foment war in Ukraine. And, we thought there was going to be natural gas shortages, but because it's been so warm, there seems to be a lot of stability in the energy markets. But he says there's still significant cargo in the sea, just chilling for almost a year. LNG facilities won't take it. It's like it's just sitting out there. They're not using up all this capacity because the weather's relatively warm. Thank you, global warming. And China and India are the only really consistent big buyers of liquid natural gas. Storage is still significant in Europe, even without getting supply from Russia. He says it's just warm everywhere.
That's not correct. It's like -2 here.
Oh, you poor baby. Just under freezing.
It's cold enough. Fucking throw that at me. Can't believe that.
I sure did. One of the energy markets here in the United States, PJM, they're a gas-heavy organization. He thinks we're about to see cheaper natural gas prices, like something along the lines of 2018 kind of numbers. So for me, in the state that I'm at, it might be a good time for me to look at my natural gas prices and try to lock in something. But he also says on a different note to be ready for credit requirements. So I guess things are so kind of goofy right now that some of these institutions might have to show their credit to secure some kind of electricity rates with an organization. I'm not too sure that's been done before, I guess. That's why he would mention that. But, geez, and here we go. And he said also, don't forget the phase out of natural gas in most parts of the world. Get rid of your gas range right now, you pleb piece of shit. Except in China and India, they're going to fire them up. There's going to be a walk on the side of the street, just spewing out gas. Wind, solar, and batteries is the theme song for now. So, unreliable energy. Keep pumping it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I look forward to that then. I saw a meme. This is a assault weapon or something like that with a gas hob.
Yeah. Or it's like the cops in bulletproof vests sitting around a table. And but instead of the table with the drug bust and everything like that, it's a gas range. Give them up from my cold, dead hands. We get an update from Nico Smid here. It's a long article, so I would just go to Nico Smid's Substack or at SmidNico on Twitter. But he co-wrote this with Alex, Kaboomrax Alex, our good buddy. And it's going to give you the bullet points on it: increasing hash rate, output per miner. I guess that's new gen machines. Increase in efficiency is slowing down. So we went from some of the newer gen machines, we call newer gen, the S19s and the M30Ss, they're around 29 joules per terahash. And, they kind of jumped up to like 25, 24. But that's starting to slow down because chip size is reaching its limit. There's a premium for the most efficient machines that we've kind of already covered. Not sure why. That's like some expensive pepperoni. Is the premium worth it? The pizza shop owner would say no. Here's a good one. Is the S9 still alive? Hell yeah. Yeah, it's still alive. Nico's going to tell us what to expect for 2023. Good luck with that. Max already made his prediction for the end of 2023. Just ask him. Intel is entering the ASIC market. Now, we know that only means the chips, right? They're not making machines. They're just making the chips. Are hydro-cooled mining machines the future? It's possible. And Bitmain continues to dominate the market. I don't know why. Goobers. But that's the update from Nico Smid.
You run Bitmain, don't you?
I do run Bitmain, yeah.
Do you look at yourself in the mirror and just point and go, you are not the problem?
Yeah, I do. Among other things.
Part of the problem.
You're good enough. You're smart enough. And gosh darn it, people like you.
If you bought again, would you go Bitmain?
Yeah, I think so, because it's been cool playing around with Vinish and brains and underclocking. WhatsMiner has a low power mode, and we'll have an article here coming up soon from Pleb Miner on how to underclock your WhatsMiners. But you can just tune it a little bit better with brains and Vinish. It's kind of like a standard setting on the WhatsMiner. So now I wouldn't change anything. Is what it is,
You just asked, I don't understand why they're still dominating the market. Maybe that's why. Because everyone's thinking like you are. Well, it's just better.
Could be. I was kind of been of the understanding that if you're in a data center, Bitmain is a good way to go. If you're doing something off grid, a little more rugged, that What's Miner is the way to go. So maybe that's a decent rule of thumb. Give us your input on that. Go to Fountain and boost the show and let us know what you think. I would also like to announce a partnership with Pleb Miner Monthly's newest correspondent, associate journalist Richard Greaser from the Bitcoin Bugle. Have you read Richard Greaser's work?
No.
Well, you're about to. He says Trudeau threatens to ban Bitcoin mining. Steve Barber sets up a generator and hash hut in Ottawa. This is hot stuff. In a move reminiscent of the 2022 Canadian trucker protests, Steve Barber has set up a hash hut and generator in the middle of Ottawa as a response to President Justin Trudeau's threat to ban Bitcoin mining. Steve Barber says, I will add a megawatt of capacity a day until you rescind your stupid threats, Steve said to a news reporter. Media coverage has been overall negative, criticizing the noise levels, which are causing residents difficulty with sleeping. Amazingly, despite the Canadian government freezing Steve's bank account, he continues to receive funding uninterrupted and continues to buy more miners to plug in. JW Weatherman has threatened legal action against Steve for accepting Bitcoin that's a good one, for accepting Bitcoin donations, but not much is known at this time. You throw some CDs.
JW Weatherman.
JW Weatherman, yeah. Get your CDs.
What, the Wookiee thing?
The Wookiee guy, yeah.
Why the fuck is he doing that?
I don't know. It's an authentic story from Richard Greaser, Max. We're not fucking around here. All right. Canadian authorities shared their bafflement as Bitcoin miners from all over the country gathered on Ottawa to block roads with makeshift barriers made of S9 chassis. Individuals around Canada and the U.S. have gone on a buying frenzy, stockpiling every bit of Bitcoin mining hardware they can get their hands on. Kaboomrax tweeted, "We've sold out of S9s for the time being. We should have more in stock soon." Kaboomrax, January 6th. It is reported that Justin Trudeau has gone into seclusion from severe climate change side effects. That's terrible. Hope he gets better soon. It is expected that Trudeau will emerge to declare a state of emergency for the second time during his presidency later this week. The Bitcoin Bugle reached out to Barber for comment, but has not heard back. And that's from our associate correspondent, Richard Greaser, from the Bitcoin Bugle.
Top stuff. I never knew any of that was going on. It's just amazing.
You know, good thing Richard Greaser is here from the Bitcoin Bugle. And that's been Pleb Miner Monthly Action News. Yeah. Next segment is Pleb Miner in the Wild. Pleb Miner in the Wild is sponsored by Peach Bitcoin. Peach Bitcoin is the very first peer-to-peer exchange in a mobile app. Buy and sell sats with payment method of choice at the price that you define, at any time and anywhere, even on the toilet or in the bath.
It's the only place.
Mm-hmm. Their pre-beta registration is still open on peachbitcoin.com, and you'll be able to download the app from the apps and play stores very soon. And the Peach team wanted to let all the plebs know that Peach 0.2 to be released in open beta is planned for February. Date to be announced soon. Soon, TM. 0.2 is...
Is that an announcement of an announcement?
Yeah. Yeah. It's all right. Did you know, Max, that after you're done doing a transaction on Peach, you get to rate your trading partner in an up or down fashion? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
What do you normally rate?
Thumbs up, bro. I only pick the best trading partners. I've told the team at Peach, hey, those thumbs are too small. I can't do it.
I saw that.
Yeah. My hands are busted up from years of working outside. They don't none work too well. You'll notice when I'm texting you and stuff that I misspell everything. It's not because I'm a complete moron. It's because my fingers don't work anymore. But this is how cool the Peach team is. They've responded. The thumbs are going to get bigger. They're going to be huge. It's going to be amazing. You've never seen thumbs like this before. The biggest ever.
I love that they're getting on with like complex, important things, and then suddenly I just see you pipe up, guys. The thumbs need to be bigger. This is the utmost importance, and they're like, okay, let's drop everything important. Everyone in the team just jumps onto it. Right, John, it's sorted.
Yeah, they did that. Listen, I say jump. I say thumbs. They say how big. But that's how good the app is. If my biggest complaint is the fact that the thumbs aren't big enough, come on.
Good work over there at Peach.
Our Pleb Miner in the Wild episode is with Zach Bomsta.
Today, we have the privilege of observing the elusive and often misunderstood Pleb Miner. If you listen closely, you will hear the unmistakable sound of its mating call. To others, the sound is offensive, but to the pleb, it's arousing beyond measure. These creatures survive by scouring the earth for energy and scavenging hash rate from others whose overexuberance costs them dearly. The pleb miner may not be at the top of the food chain, but make no mistake, its ingenuity, scrappy nature, and unquenchable thirst for sats make it a force to be reckoned with.
Ultimately, I see the ultimate end goal of the work that I'm doing is to have, take a newer generation ASIC like the S19 and parse it out. Right now, it comes as one nice single unit consuming 3,000 watts. Is there a way that you can economically parse that out into 3 different units, each consuming 1,000 watts, and now each powered from, a standard 120 volt outlet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're going to do that, there's some supporting equipment that you're going to need to be able to do that, especially if you want to do it cost effectively. One solution would be, well, just buy a 120 volt to 240 volt transformer or inverter, or not inverter, transformer, and plug that thing in, and now you can run the miner from 240 volts from a 120 volt outlet, except that you start to run into other problems and it's not cost effective. So the end goal here is to have one S19 parsed out into 3 standalone space heaters, or you can go with the different configurations. The first one that I'm working on is a space heater, and then building out the supporting circuitry you need to be able to do that.
So what you've done in order to do this was develop 3 different circuit boards that all have different personalities and functionalities to them. Can you describe the circuit boards for us?
Yeah, you bet. So the circuit boards, actually, I've chosen to use Norse mythology to name these boards. And so the first board is known as the Loki board, Loki being the god of mischief in Norse mythology. And the idea here is that the Loki board can spoof the APW12, or it can spoof the power supply needed for an S19. So the control board of the S19 actually doesn't allow you to hash from just any old power supply. It wants to verify that you're using a Bitmain power supply. And so what the Loki board does is it tricks the control board into thinking that it's hashing from a Bitmain power supply. And once it's done its job and tricked it into thinking it's hashing from that, you can power the control board and the hash boards from any power supply that's putting out between 12 and 15 volts DC. Now, obviously, you'll have to monitor, the current consumption, the power consumption of that power supply. You can't plug in a power supply that needs that's pulling 3,000 watts from a 120 volt standard outlet, but it would give you options now to reconfigure the hash boards. The second board that I'm working on is called the Njord board. Njord being the god of wind and sea. And
I knew that. Everybody knows that. So.
Yeah, I know, right? So the Njord board allows actually allows you to control or modulate an AC fan or any AC load in place of the stock fans that come on the miner.
So the idea is you can substitute one of the quieter, more efficient fans for the loud, whiny ones.
That's right. Yep. So there's a big movement to use these AC inline duct fans. They're much quieter, better fans all around. So the idea is you unplug the stock fans, you plug the Norse board in, and then you plug your fan into that Norse board. And it will now use the native algorithm of the control board for, the temperature PID controller for controlling the temperature of the hash boards. It will use that native algorithm to modulate your AC fan. Or, as some people pointed out, you could use it for running a pump if you're doing a heat exchanger type cooling solution. So then and one other thing to note on the Njord board is it will simultaneously spoof the stock fans. So you don't have to worry about, the control board freaking out because it's not getting the fan signal back. Obviously that doesn't matter for brains if you're operating on a immersion mode or whatnot. But if you want to be running an AC fan, and you want to use that control, you've got the Njord board is spoofing and making the control board think that everything's good and that the fan's running the way it should be.
Given your background and experience, especially developing an electronic device for babies, you know a lot about safety. How did you apply that to the control boards?
Yeah, so that's where the third board comes in. And that third board is the Heimdall board. And that's, Heimdall being kind of the watch god. The Heimdall will essentially monitor temperature. It's a second point of temperature monitoring. It will have the ability to monitor the temperature being reported from the hash boards, as well as an external probe if the user chooses to install that, as well as some additional features monitoring how much how much current the miner's drawing, things like that. It'll monitor all these different inputs and determine if there seems to be any safety concerns or safety issues with the miner. And if so, it will have the ability to cut power to everything. It'll power down the power supply. It'll power down the miner. It'll power down everything downstream of the Heimdall board, and therefore mitigate any thermal runaway issues or other potential safety issues that could happen. And the as you mentioned, kind of coming from the baby safety space, we had, as I mentioned earlier, we had close to 1.5 million units out in the field. And, regardless of how safe you try to make things, with a 1.5 million units, you start to see just things happen that you wouldn't expect to happen. And you start to really value an emphasis on safe design. And so, with these miners now, most miners, you plug in and you don't really think much about the safety. But if the end goal here is to get, eventually millions of miners in homes of pre-coiners and just, mass market, you're going to get to quantities where you've got to start thinking about, well, what could happen, what could go wrong, and really emphasize that safety from the beginning. And so the idea with the Heimdall board is to provide an added redundant layer of safety on top of what the miner already has, just to make it even safer for every home.
Great interview, mate.
Thank you.
A little bit long.
Well, there was a lot of content there, and Zach's a neat guy, and he's got a lot to say about his experience and the boards that he's developing. So didn't want to cut him short.
Well, it was very interesting, but we couldn't play all of it. What was that, 5 or 6 minutes we've just done?
Yeah, it's about 6 minutes, yeah.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to release the whole thing, because we were just going to do it as like a little clip, but I'll release the whole thing after this episode so people can go and listen in more detail, and then we're getting back on to really go in more detail in like a month or so.
Get in deep
in that rig.
In the beginning of the interview, we kind of get into Zach's professional background and his technical expertise and how he developed the product and the company that he was involved with, or I think he's still involved with them. And kind of like the origin story thing, how he came to Bitcoin, and he has an interesting story in developing the product that he developed with that company. It was like a sock that goes on a baby's foot, and you could monitor all kinds of metrics, like with a pulse oxygen sensor, instead of a baby having all kinds of wires all over them. And parents can check out how well they're sleeping and if everything's okay. So that was a neat story, because I think his product possibly saved some babies' lives over the time that it's been out. But he's also had to fight the man in a way. Our Food and Drug Administration, I guess, has control of those kinds of products and what labeling you can put on it and how you can market it. So I think he got a little chip on his shoulder, I guess, in a way of what it's like to fight the man when all you're trying to do is make a good product that could potentially save babies' lives.
Yeah, all you're trying to do is save babies, and they make your life harder. And then when you're trying to do something that would kill babies, safe and effective.
Safe and effective. Let's mandate it.
You don't have choice.
What are we trying to do? The rebels that we are. Hey, how about sound money? Revolutionary.
That's disgusting. What about just a sock that goes on a baby's foot so parents can make sure they're safe? No way.
How dare you?
Oh, well, that's good. I like that he's come in with a chip on his shoulder. They make the best Bitcoiners.
Oh, yeah. I'm saying that, I'm putting that on him. I don't know if he would describe himself as somebody with a chip on their shoulder. He's got a very positive attitude. And we actually spoke for about an hour and a half. Not the interview, but just chit-chatting back and forth, and just a really neat guy. But I'm excited about what he's doing with building these boards, and people will hear more on the complete interview. But basically, I'll give you the rundown real quick, is the boards make home heating a little bit easier, and they also make newer gen machines more accessible. So it's like currently there are a few products on the market that are billed as Bitcoin mining home heating things. And I'm not talking about like Rick from Crypto Cloak's, 3D case or any of the cool stuff that Schnitzel does or Tech Engineer is doing. I'm saying like a finished product on the market, but it gets you, I don't know what the efficiency of these things are, but you're talking like 4 or 5 terahash. And even the ones that are designed around the S9, you're still looking at the low power rating of 10 terahash and your normal power rating of 14. So this can take newer gen machines. You're not going to run them at the full board. They're not going to be 100, 110. They might be 50, 60 if they're running on 2 boards. But these boards will trick the control board and the power supply to use 110, which in the United States, of course, that's important. And there's 3 different kinds of boards that are going to be involved in this. They're all named after Norse mythology: the Loki, the Njord, and the Heimdall. And just real quick, like the Loki is the thing that tricks the power supply and using 110. The Njord, you can pull off 110, 120 to run an external fan and have some controls for that fan. And then the Heimdall board, given Zach's background and the product that he developed with the baby sock, he's got a good mind for safety. So that Heimdall board will monitor different temperature sensors and also have an accelerometer. It's a big word. So if the thing falls over, it'll turn off, which any of my contraptions that I've built over the years, I don't have one of those.
That's pretty cool. So in theory, someone buys these boards, they can then use a newer gen machine, get more sats per day, probably run it more efficiently and heat the home in a safe way. And what happens? You just slot these boards in?
This is in early production levels, but today I retweeted a tweet from him where he shows the size of the boards, and one of the boards is actually connected to an S19 control board. So they're not very big, but you can get an idea looking at the boards. Like the Njord board obviously has a little screw down connectors, so you can connect external wiring to it to control the fan. So they're not very big. I imagine, and I'm not sure if we covered this in the podcast, that he might develop a product, but you can buy these boards and kind of build your own thing. Maybe he'll get together with Rick and see if they can't print some kind of chassis where these boards can go into. It really opens up the door to a lot of options in home heating and hashing at home at a higher hash rate without having to run new wiring or put in a new plug. I think, when I talk to people, that seems like a big hurdle to get over. Hey, you got to run, 220 outlets over to here. And if it's an S19, then you have to have possibly 2 outlets, or you have to have a Y cable on there. If you have a What's Miner, you might have you're going to have a different end on it. So this might make it more accessible. I think once Tech Engineer gets a hold of this, and once Rick gets a hold of these boards, and Schnitzel, and a couple of the other guys in the Pleb Miner Month group, I'm really excited to see what they can figure out with these boards.
Yeah, it's exciting. And also the safety wise, I think that's always going to be a big thing. If you're putting one of these in your house and you're not 100% sure what you're doing and it overheats and sets on fire, I think that's probably going to be a big fear for people. That would be a big fear for me. I'd be reading some guide. It would always be in the back of my head, fuck, what if I've done this wrong? What if there's a problem? And it would be a risk I think a lot of people wouldn't want to take, and so they'd avoid it. But with this, it seems it would be, you feel a lot more comfortable.
I would. I think that's a hurdle people have to get over as well, is the safety aspect of it. This is a lot of amperage running through your house with these machines. So if you're going to do it, you want to do it right. And if you don't have technical expertise, then don't get into home mining. Just don't do it. But maybe if there's a finished product as a result of these boards, it'll make it more accessible for all.
I wonder if Zach will team up with others, like you said about Rick, but maybe Kaboom could hold some of these in stock, so you don't have to pay postage on things twice, or maybe there can be some sort of collaboration we can sort out in the mining group.
Yeah, I have no doubt that Zach is going to get with as many of these guys that we have in our circle and well beyond, because it gives you a lot of cool tools to play around with.
We got anything else?
Nope.
Bye.